Hey, how's it going? So we've been getting heaps of questions, or we always get heaps of questions about the diesel heater, so we thought we'd just try and answer a few of those at the moment. I might start with up the bed end. So unit is obviously just right there, and the controller is up at the bed head end. I just took some of the panels off and ran the wiring up around the bed, and this is Renee's side of the bed. So we've got the controller nice and easy here, so turn it on, press it again, I'll just do it on the second lowest setting. 1 is the lowest, 7 being the highest. You can get an idea of what it sounds like once it's going. So yeah, units down here. We went with a company called Diesel Heat. They're based in Tassie and they've got really good service. They don't actually sell online, so you just give them a call and tell them what your needs and uses are, and they'll sort something out to suit what you need and put everything together in a package for you. So they're really good actually. So yeah, unit just down here. Ideally you put it underneath the bed and you'll have a return air vent one side and your hot air out the other. We didn't really have a spot underneath the bed. We were just going to lose too much space, and then with chassis rails and all that sort of stuff underneath, this was basically the only spot that worked for us. We can have it here and still get with our hatch out the back of the trailer. Excuse me. Obviously return air is in one end of the heater and hot air out the other end, and we just kept a bit of the pipe here. We can shove that on and point it towards the young fella or up towards us, or whatever works. Comes with a wiring loom with everything ready to go. You just connect it to your battery, and around and up to your controller wherever you want that, and then all the other bits and pieces are straight out the bottom of the trailer. The scariest part is cutting a giant hole through the bottom of your trailer or the side of your trailer or caravan or whatever you're going to do, because you've got to make a big 150mm hole. So when you see daylight come through there, that's always a nervous period, but we got it all right and in the right spot, so that's always nice. Yeah, you can hear it starting to wind up now. Alright, so now we've got it on the lowest setting, which is number 1. It's got settings from 1 through 7, but this is what we have it running on the majority of the time when we've had it on a slightly higher setting for 5 or 10 minutes, and this is plenty to keep the small space warm, so not real loud. Alright, so we've got it on the highest setting now, just to show you what that sounds like. It's turned into a dry sauna in here. The sun's shining outside of the belongs on, but it's important to note that this is purely just to burn off the carbon on the unit. So after a while, once you run it for a certain amount of time, you do need to burn that carbon off. It's just part of the servicing. I'm sure all units are different, but it'll tell you in the manual what you need to do. So we never do this. We don't do this very often. It's just to burn off the carbon. Just thought we'd let you have a listen. Alright, so we're outside now, just to show you the rest of the stuff for the heater. So on the front of the box we've just mounted the diesel tank, the jerry can I guess if you want to call it. I've just got the sock on there because it seems to weep a bit of diesel and just gets covered and stuff, so yeah, do that. It's a 10 litre tank and it's more than enough, like plenty. The heater uses hardly any diesel at all, so this has lasted us for ages. So just got a tube running down the bottom that goes in and underneath the trailer, and then at some point under there, you won't be able to see, it's just too hard to get to. We've got the filter and the pump that pumps it all through, and I've just made a bash plate out of an old toolbox to cover that. And then that runs through, and the exhaust and the fresh air intake is underneath here. So basically here, your 150mm hole is about here, so that's where the heater is inside the trailer. And yeah, I'll run the exhaust to the off side of the heater, so obviously it's not coming in and underneath your awning. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So easy enough to do, bit of a DIY install if you're good enough and if you've got the time. So yeah, give it a crack.